Go ahead and lament all you want about how Calgary isn't world-class enough to play host to a World Cup soccer match in 2026, but be realistic. Sure, there's no question this once thriving city has certainly stagnated due to a reeling economy and anti-business leadership at all three levels of government. A new arena is a pipe dream, and it remains to be seen if City Council will bungle a potential Olympic bid. None of that has anything to do with the fact this city was never on anyone's radar to host any of the 10 matches to be played in Canada as part of the successful united bid with the US and Mexico to host World Cup 2026. We don't have a soccer venue capable of hosting 5,000 fans, let alone 10 times that, as required to host the world's best footballers. Fact is, we don't need one. So says Tommy Wheeldon Jr., a former pro player turned coach who is as big a staple in the soccer community as Calgary has. It's a romantic notion to say we should have a 50,000-seat stadium, but when would we fill it? Asked Wheeldon, who came to Calgary to play for the now-defunct Calgary Storm 16 years ago and fell in love with the city. The year after we played, 2004, the Mustangs had 2,000 people at McMahon Stadium and it becomes a soulless bowl. While it would be phenomenal to host a World Cup game, we have to face the fact the stadium would sit empty most of the time. Having a stadium is not the be-all and end-all anyway, as Vancouver has one, but they won't be hosting a game because the government decided they didn't want to. I think they'll regret that decision. Wheeldon cites the large number of stadiums built for the 2010 World Cup in Africa that are now white elephants. Ditto in soccer-mad Brazil, where several stadiums built for the 2014 World Cup are now abandoned or running at tremendous losses. What Wheeldon thinks people should be focusing on is the fact that World Cup teams slated to play in Edmonton are the Western U.S. might want to use Calgary as a base camp for the tourney, giving players a chance to get acclimated to the high altitude. When the World Cup hits, maybe we'll have a World Cup training base, said Wheeldon, so I'm hoping to have a slice of the action to get our fix, and Wheeldon knows just the place a team could hang its hat as he'll be GM and head coach of a Calgary Cavalry Pro franchise that recently announced it's building a 5,000-seat venue and training facility at Spruce Meadows, south of Calgary. We'll have one but not with the infrastructure of these World Cup venues, said Wheeldon, whose club will start the 8-10-team Canadian Premier League in April 2019 with a heavy focus on employing local players. We're late to the starting line, but there's never really a better time to have a stadium. Indeed, the city has long been devoid of a suitable venue for pro soccer, which wasn't going to change anytime soon after City Council dismissed the Calgary Flames' ambitious proposal to build Calgary Annex with a new football-soccer stadium attached to a world-class arena. The timing of the Cavalry's birth meshes brilliantly with this year's World Cup excitement and the fresh news from Wednesday that Canada, Mexico and the US will play host to the world's second-largest sporting spectacle behind the Olympics. It's huge news. I think the ripple effect before and after will transcend for decades, said Wheeldon, who grew up in England. It will inspire generations. You already see soccer in this city and Canada growing, and news of the Premier League launching is part of that. The ultimate goal is to have several of his players from the Cavalry playing for Canada on home soil, assuming Canada either qualifies or is handed a spot as co-hosts. It's a huge carrot for every youngster in town with big dreams, as he has a new path he can take to get there. I remember in England, the World Cup that really captured my heart was Italia in 1990. Paul Gascoigne in the semi-final, famously crying after a yellow card meant he'd be unable to play in the possible final, and then losing in penalty kicks to eventual champion West Germany, said Wheeldon. I was hooked. I think it was the connectivity, it was on TV, and it was an ignition switch. I played many sports growing up, but after that, I only loved one. Wheeldon admits he woke up early just to see FIFA's World Cup announcement and will certainly put in plenty of time the next month at the city's unofficial soccer hub, The Ship. And even though Calgary and Canada has no skin in the World Cup games now, Wheeldon knows the impact here will be felt in endless ways. With the Cavalry coming, you'll capture the hearts and minds of Calgarians as we will have a pro league on our doorstep, said Wheeldon, citing the fact 19,000 people are registered soccer players in Alberta. It's a vibrant culture. Back to the stadium issue, Edmonton has Commonwealth Stadium because it was built for the 1978 Commonwealth Games. It appears only the 2026 Olympics can be the catalyst for anyone to invest in nickel into building a more suitable major outdoor stadium for the city than McMahon. Otherwise, while it would be nice to have an open-air venue capable of hosting a major concert or two a year, it's hard for anyone to justify the costs involved. So we'll watch from afar, something Calgarians might have to get used to if an arena deal isn't imminent and the Flames leave town. F. Francis at Postmedia, com/http://www.twitter.com/Eric Francis